Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are really glad to welcome you to this very special edition of Tech Dialogues, and I'm joined by a great guest. And without further ado, we're going to start. Do scan the QR code that you can see on the top left hand side of your screen. And you can join our community and be kept up to date with all the exciting things we have going on. Now, today we have Sharon, and she is known as the ultimate problem solver. The name itself begs that you go and invite someone, share the link with someone, because it's going to be a great session. After 10 years in the corporate world, she has witnessed how problems were solved by individuals, teams, and organizations, and has developed a inspired formula on how to solve problems at every level. Using her formula, Sharon has co-founded Emboldened, an assistive technology platform supporting neurodivergent individuals. She's built a community of over 100,000 problem solvers and now solves governance challenges as a board strategist. So, whether in the boardroom or the build phase, Sharon leads with clarity, courage, and conviction, believing governance is a pathway to equity, impact, innovation, and long term success. As the ultimate problem solver, Sharon is an inspirational even speaker, author, and board member who blends strategic thinking with a deep commitment to social impact. Welcome, Sharon, to the stage. I think you may be muted. Yes, can
There
you
we
hear
are.
me? Fabulous. We can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Hannah. How are you?
We are coping with the UK heat,
Yes,
but it's
yes.
really good to
I'm
really good.
also coping.
Yes. But nonetheless, thank you for joining us today. I am really excited for this session. As someone I've known personally and also followed your professional journey, it is really exciting to have you here. So you are known as the ultimate problem solver.
Yes,
Can you explain to us what that means?
that's a good question. Um, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me, Hannah. I feel very honored. I love your work. I love how you work. I think that you're a very intentional woman. So if I'm here, I know I'm here for a reason, and I really appreciate it. So thank you very much. I feel special. I feel honored, and yeah, I just like hanging out with cool people. Anyways, so it's a great day, honestly. The ultimate problem solver. That's a great question. The name is so bold and so audacious, but I just wanted it to be so simple and so clear as to what it is that I think is important or paramount in wherever you are. And I think that it's solving problems. And the ultimate problem solver just speaks to being a valuable person. There's
Mhm.
so many things that we want out of our careers, out of our lives, personally, in the corporate world, as an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. And it just speaks to the fact that in order to get whatever it is that you want out of life, you need to first bring value to the table and be able to solve problems, the problems in your world, the problems in the world, the problems that you face at work, the problems that you face at home. It doesn't matter. In order to either be successful or to live the sort of life that you want to live, you need to have a brain and a mind for solving problems and not be one of those people who shut down
Yeah.
and cower and just sort of give up when things get complex. That's really the mind behind it.
Absolutely. And people pay, the more money you get paid for is the bigger the problem you're able to solve. So
Yeah. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And I really do like also just claiming that I am the ultimate problem solver. There's absolutely
Great.
nothing wrong with it. I bring
Perfect.
value. And sometimes we do have to make audacious statements like that. So thank you. Thank you for that. I thought I would just put that out there. So with yourself, everyone sees the success, but very few will see the journey. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced during your years within the corporate setting? Because our community, we have a mix of people that are quite seasoned, people that are new professionals. What are some of the biggest challenges you've faced in your journey?
That's a great question, and I'm going to opt to be very, very incredibly honest about it. A lot of the challenges that I faced in corporate are really life challenges,
Yeah.
and oftentimes life people talk about work-life balance or work-life split, and the truth is that oftentimes that is very, very difficult to achieve. So the challenges that you face in your life affects you as a human being, which affects how you work.
Yeah.
For example, climbing the corporate ladder. A lot of it I did when I was much younger. I was always sort of the youngest person in the room. Not sort of, I was the youngest person in pretty much every room that I was in. And that started to inform how I carried myself or believed in myself. And so one of the first things I really had to sort out was my sense of confidence and my ability to just be without fiddling or thinking or sort of caveating. Oh, I know that I'm the youngest person, but what if I know that, but just that was the first challenge and the most foundational challenge I had to face and overcome in order to get anything out, get my projects out, do a presentation successfully, sort of just accept that you are the youngest person here. You have credentials, you were hired for a reason. Can we move on, please?
Mm.
That was a conversation I had to have with myself. And so that I just stopped making that a thing I had to explain. But another challenge I really faced in my personal life was that I lost my mum. And when I
Mm.
lost my mum, I became very, very sort of cautious and very, very just afraid of life in general. I think very, very often we see sort of grief and life be depicted in movies and in books. And I really love books, so I understand how people write about these things and how people depict these things in shows. And I love a good show, I love a good movie. But living it showed me how even the things I can be so confident in, something like that can really rock, like just rock my entire world. And I had to start to sort of gather myself together again and understand that the things that happen in our lives, our personal lives, will inadvertently affect everything else that we do. So how I returned back to the corporate world, how I focused, how I split up my time so I give myself time to cry, because I need time to cry from time to time in the middle of the day, because I just randomly think, oh crap, I'm all alone in the world because my mom's dead and I have to go and sit somewhere and cry. These are real challenges I had to face going back to work and leading teams and leading a department. I'm thinking, oh, I'm sitting in this meeting and I feel like crying. Just excuse yourself, walk into the bathroom and come back. Real life challenges I had to face. Also, dealing with that knock of confidence again, being somebody who is a very confident person, somehow losing my mum really just knocked me and just rocked my brain. And I had to sort of realign myself. And something that really, really helped me is remembering that really the ultimate source of my confidence actually comes from God. And that really, really helped me to sort of recenter myself and remember that sort of these are the seasons in life. And finally, another challenge I had, which, and I'm choosing to be so honest because there's really no need to be weird and be all sort of
Yeah, please do.
political about
Yeah.
it, was when I got married and then I sort of changed my name in the world, like in the corporate world, just having to sort of reassert that no, I have a new name and yeah, you have to keep up. Yeah, I don't care how long you've been used to calling me Sharon Mills, and this is the new name, and yes, you do have to keep up. And no, I don't care that I used to have an Anglo-Saxon name and now I have a very traditional Nigerian name. Yes, you have to keep up. And having people go like, oh, is it okay if I call you? No, this is the new name. You have to keep up. Yes, you have to keep up. These are just challenges that I face. They're minute to some people, they're huge to other people. It's just real life. And just being very direct with these conversations and just being like, yeah, this is my new name. Can we move on, please? No, you can't call me the other name. No, this is my new name. Can we actually just move on? Things like that. And just understanding that, yeah, these are things in the corporate world that you might face as a woman if you chose to change your name. Other people might not, and that's just life. And you have to just be able to assert yourself and just be very clear. And yeah, so just weird challenges. There are many challenges, but really and truly, these are the sort of anomalies in life that really stuck with me.
No, I can completely relate to what you're saying, and thank you for being honest, because I think often we think about maybe just the corporate challenges, maybe conflict and things like that, but some things in life happen. Life really does happen, and it's things sometimes
Yes,
you can't control. And I know I can relate to you losing a parent as well. It's weird. Sometimes you even become really risk averse. So it's like I
yes,
do things I can control, so it affects your career, and it's really important that people understand that your personal life does play an effect, have an effect on it. And sometimes you will need a bit of help. You will need to cry, and
yes.
that's okay. And even the name change as well. Similarly, I changed, I got married and I got a very Nigerian name,
Right.
last name, and it was the same thing. So it's little challenges like that. Sometimes it can also compound to affect you. And I like the fact of, sometimes you have to be assertive, but you also have to give yourself grace
Yes.
where there's certain challenges. And I know I was advised that sometimes life is like juggling. So you may not have a
Yes.
good balance all the time. Like work-life
Yes.
balance is almost impossible, but sometimes priorities just shift. So at a priority at a time, it may just be you're going hard at work, and then another time it may not be that, but
It
that's
might just
not
be family. Yes.
exactly. So yeah, absolutely. We have a question in the chat. Someone says,
I
"What
love
is
you.
the biggest mistake young professionals make in their early careers?"
Oh, very good question. Young professionals. Um,
Yes.
defining yourself as a young professional, like do away with your age, unless your work is very age specific, and you really have to retain a constant consciousness of your age. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, I'd say do away with your age. Like I need you to almost forget how old you are, because if you remember how old you are and you keep talking about how old you are, everybody's going to remember how old you are, and they're going to keep talking about how old you are. And I don't know about you, but that conversation gets really boring very, very quickly. So don't define yourself by how old you are. Define yourself by your competence, your experience, and you're willing to learn. That's a
Mm.
better metric to define yourself by. And as a young professional, if you stay hyper aware that you are a young professional, everybody around you will stay hyper aware of it, and they will treat you as such. So that's I think that's what I'd say.
That's so true. That's so true. And you can even start self-limiting yourself, like limiting yourself.
Absolutely.
I'm young, but you're in that position, so that means you're competent and you're capable
Yeah.
of doing that. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And now, if we look at your sort of career trajectory, what was the defining moment when you realized that you wanted to move beyond corporate life and actually build something for yourself or of your own?
That's a very good question. There are three words I'm starting to get very, very comfortable with as a girl, a woman, or whatever it is I am. I've started to get very comfortable with three words: power, wealth, influence. Very comfortable with it. There are three individual words that very often it's like, oh my god, it's so gauche. It's not gauche. These are not gauche words, and it's not greedy words. These are words that they're just words. Whatever you attach to it, that's on you. It's just a
Mm,
word. And I looked at myself once and I thought to myself, what do I want out of corporate? Like, what do I actually want out of this institution that I'm in? I'm not looking for satisfaction in my soul, because corporate doesn't give me that. That's for starters. I'm not
mm,
looking for I'm not looking to be fulfilled like internally, spiritually, because I don't get that from corporate. What I actually want from corporate is money. Like,
right.
primarily, that is the first thing I want from corporate. That is the reason why I wake up and I leave my house all the way in Buckinghamshire, and I commute all the way into London in the rain, in the summer, in this ugly heat, in the winter, doesn't matter what's going on, and I go into work. That's the reason why I do it. So that was the first thing I had to be very honest about. Now, what is the way to maximize the thing I want? And I start to understand I have great mentors and I have even better sponsors, and there's a difference between the both. And they're very honest with me about how to build wealth. And I love to have those conversations with brilliant women, women who I respect. I love to have those conversations with them. Recently, I was in Cambridgeshire, and the First Lady of Lithuania was given a keynote, and she was talking about how women should learn how to build wealth and get
Mhm.
very comfortable about being impactful and being influential. Like, just get very comfortable with it. And when I have those conversations with the women I respect, they say, learn how to build something.
Yeah.
Yes, many people will be able to build wealth through corporate. Yes, but that's a small percentage of people. The people
Very
who really are able to build wealth are people who can build something for themselves. So have a mind for entrepreneurship, or just be entrepreneurial even in how you do your career. So that might mean building out an entrepreneurial career. What does that mean? It sounds like a paradox. It means having a portfolio career where you don't pigeonhole yourself to having one income and one paycheck and one everything, blah, 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 where you are quite entrepreneurial in how you go about your career so that you can build wealth, if
yes.
that's what you want from corporate. Some people go into corporate to get mental, spiritual, and lifetime fulfillment. I don't need that. I get that from church. I get that from my
Right.
husband. I get that when I talk to my dad. I get that when I hang out with my sister. I don't need that from corporate. What I need from corporate is money. And
Mm.
so I'm going to optimize for the thing I want from corporate. I'm not looking for spiritual happiness and joy and fulfillment. I'm not looking for that. I have that. I'm okay. In fact, I go to corporate to give them that. I don't need it from them. So I'm trying to optimize, how do I get the most wealth and how do I build wealth? So
Mhm.
that's why I started to think about, building something on the side, being an entrepreneur and having an entrepreneurial career, and sort of along with my 9 to 5, also sort of doing things on the side. That's when I started my speaking career. That's when I started consulting, all these things. And that was the real push. I wish I had a deeper, more spiritual answer, but I thought to myself, I want to build wealth. How do I build wealth? And then I just follow that path.
Yeah, and that's a really great answer. And I know that in some of your videos and your talks, you speak about being entrepreneurial, but not necessarily, you don't have to be self-employed to be
Yes.
entrepreneurial, but it's having the mindset
Mhm.
as well. Would you mind just going a little bit deeper into that?
Yes, absolutely. The actual original definition of being an entrepreneur is someone who can spot a problem and organize the resources to solve the problem. That is the origin of the definition of entrepreneurship. And then later in the 70s, a different economist came up with a more refined definition, and he said, I wish I could remember his name, but don't worry about that. And then
Mm.
he said that an entrepreneur is someone who is innovative, someone who
Mm.
can see how things operate and can innovate to optimize either for time or to optimize for resources. Now, when you think about your career, I want you to think to yourself, I can be entrepreneurial while I'm in my career. How? I can go out of my way to spot things that people are comfortable with that I personally find extremely inconvenient. And I can think to myself, because I'm a thinking man, how can that be easier? And how would I rather do that? And then I can present my idea in a structured and clear way to whoever matters. If my company doesn't buy into my idea, I can present it to my industry, and my
Right.
industry might buy into it. And if I present this solution in the form of, I don't know, a platform or a talk or, I don't know, a deck or a digital document, whatever, I will sell it. I will not give it for free. I am not Santa Claus. I will sell it whilst keeping my 9 to 5 job. I
Right.
want you to think about issues and problems that you face every day, and how I feel like this might be easier if I did it this way. And I want you to test it and see if it's legitimate. But then also, I want you to take your 5 years in wherever marketing or your 6 years in engineering, and then I want you to think to yourself, what are the different ways that my industry can be better and more innovative and blah blah blah. And then I want you to put together decks, PDF decks, and just write your ideas out. One of the most incredible things you can do for yourself is write. When you think, write. When you
Mm.
think, write. When you think, write. And then distribute your writing and put it in the form of thought leadership. Thought leadership is a really cool word for, I thought about something and I think I'm a leader in it, so here you go. And then put it out there, put it on LinkedIn, and then become a speaker. I don't know. Keep your 9 to 5 and be a speaker and pocket the money.
Absolutely.
Keep your 9 to 5 and distribute digital books. Elhana's written so many books. I don't know if you guys know, you should buy all of Elhana's books, by the way. I'm just going to say it right now. She's written so many books. Write the books about your industry and how you think your industry can be better. Write it, publish it, sell it on LinkedIn, sell it on Instagram. Do that and keep your 9 to 5 and pocket the extra spare change. That is how to have an entrepreneurial career. That's what I think.
Absolutely. No, that is absolutely fantastic. And because I know I really liked those videos, and that's why I just wanted to just touch on it, because it's very important that, you may not need to jump ship immediately, but
Yeah.
you can be entrepreneurial while in your career. And I know really great examples of people that are building something
Yes.
and still have a role. So thank you for that. You did again touch on something. You talked about mentors and sponsors, and I'm just seeing another question in the chat that says, how did you go about finding these amazing mentors? So may I ask the difference between a mentor and a sponsor, and then how do you go about finding a mentor?
Just to simplify it, a mentor is someone who talks to you. So they
Mm.
might advise you, but a sponsor is someone who talks for you. And so your mentor can become a sponsor, but very often your sponsors might not be mentors. Your sponsors might be people who watch the things that you do. So, for example, if you're a manager and then you have a head of department, and then you have a director. Just focus on these three things. You are the manager, you have a head of department, and then your head of department has a director. Your head of department might choose to mentor you and teach you and blah blah blah, and you know how mentorship works, because frankly the black community is over mentored and not very sponsored. So I'm sure you're familiar with how mentorship works. But your director might be someone who just watches you and sees a lot of the projects that you do and blah blah blah, and it's just like, this is great, this is great work, this is fantastic work. Your director is willing to speak for you, but oftentimes your mentors might not speak up for you, but they just give you a lot of advice, but they don't then open doors for you. Your sponsor is someone who opens doors for you and speaks up for you. Yesterday, I went out to coffee with two of my friends. I was having coffee with my friend Enoch and David was talking to me about this idea that he had, and he was just like, oh, blah, 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 and this is really great. And I immediately went into my phone and I was like, okay, I'm going to open my LinkedIn, turn on your airdrop, David. I'm going to turn on my airdrop. I'm going to airdrop this person's contact to you. I want you to connect with them. And then tomorrow, I'm going to send them a LinkedIn message, and I'm going to make sure that we meet on a Zoom link so I can introduce you to them so that they know. That's a sponsor. A mentor is someone who's going to be like, oh, why don't you go about it and do this? And if you do this and you do that, and that's great. I'm not knocking it. It's important. It has its place. But a sponsor is someone who goes the extra mile and goes into the rooms where you're not and says, hey, so this person, blah, blah, blah. This person does this. And I think that you should blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to vouch for them and I'm going to advocate for them. That's a sponsor. Someone who can sponsor your introduction into rooms that you have never been in. And that's something I'm trying to do for young women in their 30s who want to sit on boards, because I've had board roles since I don't know what age, and that's something I want to do. I want to be a sponsor for women who want board roles and who want to reach that next level of influence in the corporate world. So
yeah, love that. And I like you mentioned in passing, that's what we lack a lot of. It's not really mentorship, sometimes it's sponsorship, and especially maybe large corporations as well. You need a sponsor. You won't be promoted. You won't.
Yes.
You won't even get a bonus if you don't have a sponsor to a certain degree. So sponsorship is really important, and that's why sometimes you also have to be a bit visible, because if people don't know what you're doing, they can't vouch for you. So yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. And I had another question. What, in your opinion, separates people who consistently progress in their careers and those that remain stuck?
People who ask for things. And so that answers two questions. I can see one here. Someone says, how do you build sponsors? So the answer to that question and this question are the same. The people who ask for things, they get it. So the people who stay stuck are usually scared, or they feel that, oh, I'm not good enough. What if I ask and they say no? Ask. Let them say no, because now at least you have a clear answer. And when they say no, then say why, and then ask for feedback, and then say thank you. And then you go away with the feedback and you do something with it. If you want to leave the organization, leave the organization. If you want to use the feedback to improve yourself and then come back and ask again, then ask again. But ask. The word here is ask, because at the end of the day, all people will say is no. Worst case scenario. The key word, if you don't remember anything else from this fantastic event that Ohana has put together, because she's brilliant, the word is ask. Ask. Just ask the question. What are they going to say? No, that's fine. If they say yes, brilliant. You have the upside is infinite, and the downside is just a no. Ask. You want someone to be your sponsor? Ask. What do you want them to sponsor you in? Oh, I know that you're part of blah, blah, blah event. I really, really want to be in that room. I'm wondering if you can get me into this event. I would really, really love to be in this event. Ask. The key word here is ask. If you can ask, you can get it. You might have to ask a few times before you get it, but ask. If you want someone to sponsor you for a promotion, go to them and say, I know that you're going to be in so-and-so board meeting. I really believe I'm ready. Do you have 5 minutes? I want to show you what I've got. And I promise it's going to be 5 minutes. You show them a quick deck. Make sure it's data focused. Nobody has time for you to tell long stories. Make sure it's data focused. Show them why you should be sponsored by them. Ask.
And it seems really simple, but a lot of people just don't do it.
Yes.
And I really wholeheartedly agree with you. The worst you can get is a no. A no is not going to kill you. And you're going to get feedback from that no if you do it well enough. So
Yes,
it's almost like a win-win. You get a
it's a
yes, but you
win-win.
get feedback. So you don't really lose that way. And funnily enough, there's another question in the comments a little bit earlier that says, how do you know when it's time to change a job versus staying and growing where you are?
That depends on the things you want out of the job. So I
Mm,
refer you back to the other question about money. The thing that I want out of a job is ultimately to earn more.
mm-hmm.
And in order to earn more, I have to become better. So I
Yeah.
think I would pair it for myself is, are there opportunities for me to grow? Is someone still willing to sort of like teach me? Are people still training people here? Am I
Mm,
improving? Am I becoming better in like who I am? Because I'm going to be very honest. A lot of time when I get these sort of questions, like, how do you know when it's time to leave? You're thinking about it in terms of like, they're not giving me what they're not giving. What are you giving? Are you are you still valuable to the organization? Do you feel like everything I've got to give, I've given it, and I've got nothing else to offer, guys? Goodbye. That's okay. Then go and leave. But you should, when you ask that question, it should be twofold. What do they have to offer me, and what do I have to offer them? Now, at
mm-hmm.
any given point, I want to be of value, and I still want to be able to solve problems here. Number one, are people being clear about the problems that exist here? Are people willing to address them? I can stay. And are you willing to pay me well? I can stay. Are people sort of, when organizations go into peak bureaucracy and things start to move very slowly and solving problems become hectic. And in fact, it becomes easier to live with the problems in the organization than to attempt to solve them because of bureaucracy and change becomes a chore. Then I need
Mm-hmm.
to go. But also, if things are moving very quickly and I'm doing so much, but nobody is paying me for everything I am doing, then I need to go. So I would pair both of them together. What you can do for them and what they can do for you. If both of those things are still working, then there's hope, there's a chance. If it's
Yeah.
not, yeah, maybe you should go.
Yeah, and I like that point actually around also what do you bring into the organization? Because sometimes we feel like cheated in our
Yes,
growth, but a lot of us don't even have we don't have evidence of what we've brought. So like, what have you contributed? And if you're just doing the bare minimum in your job, you should have limited expectations
absolutely.
as well. So thank you for that. Someone has also asked, do you think that corporate is now a means to an end?
In many, it hasn't it always been. Well, I don't know. Maybe you're working. Yeah, maybe you work in your daddy's company, so maybe it hasn't been that for you. But every company I've worked in, my daddy doesn't own it, so it's always been a means to an end. I go there and I do a very very good job, and I get
Mm,
paid, and we shake hands at the end of the day when we're done, and we go our separate ways. That's it. That's what corporate has always been for me. It's been a great experience. I've grown as a person. I have learned to be resilient. I've learned to have EQ, I've learned to improve my IQ, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a means to an end. It's a means to the end is the coin in my pocket. Then I invest and I invest into my family, my community, etc. So it's always been that for me. But if you work in a company that's your daddy's company that belonged to your grandpa, that belonged to his grandpa before him, maybe it's different for you. But girl, I do not have that.
it's not a legacy for some of
Nah.
us. Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, this is a good question that's just come through. Someone said, "How can someone build confidence when they don't have the experience or credentials? So maybe someone fresh out of uni, or someone very new to their career. Because sometimes you feel. I don't know about you, Sharon, but I feel confident when I'm speaking about something I know. I've been doing it, so I'm not nervous. I'm not shy.
Yeah.
But if someone's just starting their career, how can they? Because we know that confidence is very important, especially in
Mhm.
corporate spaces. How can they feel confident?
That's a good question. I think I'm going to answer specifically for people who are coming into the workforce newly. And
Mm,
I think that you should lean on your skills. Credentials and experience will come and you will build it over time. And if you're speaking to a reasonable, sensible person, they should know that. But the thing that they're looking for out of you are your skills. What are the important skills in corporate? This is a great question. People skills. Can you have a conversation with people? Can you communicate? When you are overwhelmed, will you say you are overwhelmed or will you shut down and then slow down the project that's supposed to be for 2 weeks for 1 month?
right.
Will you put your hand up and say, that was overwhelming. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. Will you get up from your desk and go and sit next to your manager with your laptop and say, can I show you something really, really quickly? Or will you sit there in your ego? These are the skills they're looking for. That's communication skills. People skills. Are you good with people? Do people meet you and instantly dislike you? It's a real thing. And there are people who do not have a high likability quotient. People do not, there's people who are not likable. So if you know that's you, work on that. Because
Mhm.
in the absence of like experience and credentials and years and years and years, if you are able to get people on your side, that is a winning card. It is a
Mm.
very, very winning card. Can you negotiate without making someone feel like less than, or without making someone feel like they're the bottom of your shoe? I was recently talking to someone about a story in how to win friends and influence people. Great book. Read it. As I talk more and more about building wealth and building influence, it is important for you to know that influence is not the influences of social media. It is the ability to get people to trust you, to buy into you, and to influence your organization or your industry. It is very, very important. You don't have credentials, that's okay. Do you have people skills? Can you communicate? And can you solve a problem? Can you notice when something has gone awry and point it out and go, hey, is that supposed to look like that? And then someone's going to go, oh my God, no, actually, thank you for spotting that. Can you spot problems and can you volunteer to solve it? Are you willing to risk looking dumb to try to attain something bigger? Are you willing to risk looking dumb for a greater end? These things are more better and much more valuable than your credentials, because you want to know what, a lot of those industry specific skills can be taught. They can be
Mm.
taught, but the ability to talk to people and to communicate, a lot of these things, that you can try to teach it, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is so true. And I feel because our community also supports people that are wanting to navigate into tech careers, so a lot may
Yes.
have experience. And I feel like honestly, that's what really speaks to us. I know my first job within technology, we absolutely zero experience. Really was having to sell on what I did have strengths in, which wasn't
Yes.
technical. So yeah, completely agree. Someone has also mentioned here, what daily habits have contributed to your success?
Well, I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, but that's not for everybody. I get up at 5 a.m. every morning and I go and I work out just to clear my brain. I
Mm,
always say that when you are fit physically, you can be fit mentally, and
mm,
take that however way you want. But I really, really mean that. Also, I spend
mm.
a lot of time with people who like me, so that when I go to work, I'm not looking for people to like me at work. It
Right.
really, 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 really helps. I'm so confident that in my house, my dad likes me, my friends like me, my husband likes me, even the cat down my street likes me. So when I go to work, I'm not looking for people to like me. I go there to do my job, and I'm kind and I'm compassionate, but I'm not looking to be liked. So these tiny little things, like I said in my first answer, that the things that are happening in your personal life will affect you as an individual and then will affect your work. So try to
Yeah.
spend time in a place where you are loved. Try to be around people who like you, because it will change how you appear and present yourself at work. You present yourself just with, just, this is who I am, take leave, hey, whatever. And then you also don't try to like change your ethics, etc., for people to accommodate you. All of these things, and it starts to get very, very messy. So please spend time being very, very comfortable and knowing that you are liked and loved. It affects who you are at work. That's why you meet very unbearable people at work, because sometimes they don't have a life outside of work. So work is
Absolutely.
everything to them. Work is
Mhm.
everything. Like they can't catch their breath. Oh my God, job. But the
Yeah.
rest of us, life is great outside. So, work is literally just work. So, tiny little habits like number one, being fit. Number two, waking up and giving myself enough time. I don't like to rush and I don't like to be rushed. So, I give myself enough time in the morning. Also, I really believe in looking good. It's look good. When you look good, you're not thinking about how you look. And when you're not thinking about how you look, you can be present. Look good. A lot of people think that it's vain, but I've been saying it for years. And then Michelle Obama went on that very crass show, Call Her Daddy, awful thing, in my opinion. My opinion, people, mine. And then she said something. She said, that people should care about how they look, because how you look is also part of how you are being graded in any room. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, really? Of course. How you look
Yeah.
matters. Look good. Put yourself together, because then you're not fiddling and tucking and shaking, and look good. it's a good confidence booster even for yourself. So it's just little things that I do personally, and it helps me.
Yes, how you look as well, apart from how maybe people may perceive you, like you mentioned, it actually supports how you feel. So if you're going to a certain setting and you're comfortable and you feel put together, it makes you appear and become a bit more confident as well, especially when you're in a professional setting. It is really important. Again, not saying to be vain, but I do think it's a really, really important point. So completely agree with you. Thank you. I think this is a double barrel question. It's from Edwin, so I'm just going to pull both together. He said, I don't think I'm one of those that can go off and build a business, but I have ideas and want to build them under the umbrella of my firm. And then the question above, he says, how can I navigate into entrepreneurship in my firm?
That's a great question. I literally had this conversation yesterday. I'm going to talk in steps. Number one, spot the problem. Number two, solve the problem before sharing the solution with your manager. Your manager's loyalty is to the company, not you. Please solve, you can spot the problem, solve the problem, and then you can sell the problem to your company. But the space between solving the problem and selling the problem, the solution to your company, is you, number one, owning the solution, patenting the solution, making sure that you have all of your ownership rights, and then sell it back to your company and make it very clear. I want to stay in the company. I just want to sell it back to you guys. Give me my money. I'm going to pocket it and I'm going to stay. So if you're someone who is good at spotting things and you're good at creating things, but you don't want to manage a company. I don't want to leave and create a company and have to manage and do all of this craziness. I don't want to do that. I want to stay in my industry, in my company, and see problems and solve them, and then own the solution, Edwin. Own the solution. Patent it, copyright it, let it be yours first before you talk to your manager. And then stay in your company and make it very, very clear that the reason why you created it is because you love the company so much and I really just wanted to give back and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But sell it and let them pay you. And then you can stay in the company because not everybody wants to run an organization. That's the truth. And it's not for everybody either.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And I had a question, especially within we talked a little bit about purpose, but also sort of commercial success. So,
Yes.
how do you balance purpose and commercial success? Because I also feel like the things I feel a great purpose towards will never pay me up to a certain degree. Like that's not where I'm going to make.
Yeah.
And similar to you, I like the finer things in life. So I want to make a certain amount of money,
Yeah.
but it's not my purpose. So how do you balance something that is your purpose and something that brings you financial viability?
I see it as a payoff. So I do the job that is not necessarily my purpose in life so that I can fund the thing that is my purpose. A lot of the things that are my purpose are tied to my virtues and my integrity and my beliefs. And so I actually do this work so I can fund this thing and ultimately spend my time doing this thing. But I realize that I don't want to put the horse before the cart before the horse. Yeah, that's how it goes. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. And so the thing that is my holy grail, the thing that's going to give me joy and make me feel so happy, and I just feel fulfilled, and I'm so happy to wake up and do it every single morning. If it can't fund life, and life, money is a tool for life. That's all money is, but it's an important tool. But it's just a tool, but it's an important tool. If it can't generate that tool for life, I know what needs to happen first. And then I'm going to do this other thing. I'm just going to bide my time and be patient and grit my teeth, but do this on the side slowly, slowly to fill my heart and to fulfill me and to give me that joy. And so that I also don't lose sight of what I eventually want to end up doing. I
Mm.
have that as well, Elhana. I have things I really, really want to do, which is my actual dream to be doing. But many little things need to happen first. Something needs to be created to fund this thing, which will fund this thing, which will fund this thing, which will fund the final holy grail. So it's just biding your time and being patient and just looking to the future and keeping your eyes on the real vision and the dream. Yeah.
I love that. Love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Someone has asked here, in a world where it feels like everyone is doing the same thing, what do you think is the key to truly standing out? What would you do differently if you were starting today?
Oh, starting today, everybody isn't doing the same thing because everybody isn't the same person.
Right.
Everybody's different. The way Annie is gonna make a marketing agency is very, very different from the way that Cyrus is gonna make a marketing agency. So that
Mm-hmm.
is instantly very, very different. Annie has her edge. And this is why I say don't leave your personality at the door. People come into conversations and they're just like, it's and like what is it that makes you unique, because all of the individuals on earth have our own personality and our own gifts, and the thing that makes us so different, and that thing is a gift not just to you but to us.
Right.
So insert your gift into it, insert your strengths, your weaknesses, your temperaments, your personality, the thing that gives you an edge, your insert it into it, and lean so hard into the things that are your strength, and then delegate your weaknesses. That organization, that same marketing agency, will look so different from Cyrus's marketing agency, because also Cyrus will lean towards his own strengths and then delegate his weaknesses. And the organization will just look so different. They're the same organization, they do the same thing, but they will look so different because number one, the people running it are entirely different. The culture will be different. And because Cyrus is the person running it, his passions and his strengths will guide the culture. Inevitably, that's the truth, will
Yeah.
guide the culture of the organization. And the organization being run by Annie based on her personality, her strengths, her likes, and her preferences will sip into the culture, and both of them will be different. And just sell your edge. Sell
Mm,
your edge. A lot of people are solving the same problem. Sell your edge. What is your unique selling point? That's what they call a USP.
yeah.
Sell your edge and believe in your edge, Annie.
Mhm.
Believe in it.
Absolutely. And again, like you said, many people are doing the same thing, but you have
Yes.
a unique selling point. You need to find that and you need to sell that. Thank you. And another question is, how do you not shut down when you're overwhelmed? That's a good question.
That's a really, really good question. If you need to shut down for a few minutes and take a walk, that's fine. But shutting down permanently, I advise against it, because it starts to call to question your utility in the organization. So I'd say take a few minutes, take a walk, take a breather. Sometimes I even say I need a second, and I say that I need a second. I'm gonna just walk away and come back. What I do in my second is the thing that determines whether my shutdown is long term or not.
Mm,
I take a walk, I get my phone, and I empty my brain. One of the reasons why you feel overwhelmed is because your brain is full, but you're not acting on the things that are in your brain.
mm,
Stress doesn't come from what you're doing, it comes from what you're thinking. If you take a second and think about it, you realize what I'm saying is true. The thing stressing you out is not what you are doing a lot of the time. It's what you are thinking. You're thinking, I need to do this and I need to do that, and I need to do this and I need to do that, and that other thing needs to get done, and this thing needs to get done. The thing stressing you out is your brain.
absolutely.
Empty your brain out. Get a paper and a pen and write. What is in my brain? Why do I feel so cluttered in my brain? Write it out so that you can see it. And in fact, one of the best advice I ever received, I got from the Christian Bible, and it says, if you can write the vision and make it plain, then you can run.
Mm, oh,
I
yeah.
believe that so much, because when it's inside of your brain, you can't see it. But if you can write it and you can see it, then you can measure it, and you can prioritize and deprioritize, and you can feel freer. You can feel freer. So you
Mm,
can take 2 seconds, go on a walk, write something down, drop a voice note to yourself, clear out your brain, because the thing that's making you feel stressed and overwhelmed, and the thing that makes you feel like this thing is impossible, it's insurmountable, it's your brain. Empty your brain, clear your brain out. And remember, very few things are impossible.
mm,
Very few, like maybe like 3 things in the whole world are impossible.
right.
Very few things are impossible. So everything is figure outable. You just need a second to write it down, to see the things in your brain. Write it, do it like a mind map. I love a good mind map. Make it a mind map so you can see all the things in the corners of your brain, and then start to solve it.
No, I love that. I love that. And I'm a big advocate for writing it down. I write down
Yeah.
everything. And it really, really does help. As someone that also is a thinker, like my brain is always moving. Writing it down really, really does
Helps.
it really, really helps. So we've sadly come to the end. So we're gonna ask the final question. I cannot believe it. We definitely have to bring you back because I feel like you unpack.
That was so fun, guys.
It was, I tell you, and really great questions. So finally, when people look back on your career decades from now, what impact do you hope that you will be remembered for?
I want people to feel that Sharon really empowered them. Like they met me and they left feeling like, yeah, I can do it. I can
Yeah,
do it. It's not the end of the world. I want people to think to themselves, you know, I met her in so and so year. And when I walked away from her, I just believed more. I just really,
right.
really believed more. That's my thing. That's my drug. That's actually what I have to sell. What I have to sell is belief. Like you can do it. I don't care what the problem is. It's not insurmountable. You can actually do it. You just need to sit down and give yourself a second and really, really just get into it. You can do it. You are useful. You have utility. You have a brain. You have resources around you. You have people
Yeah.
around you. Tap your resources. You can do it. So when people think about me, I hope that's how they feel. That I hope they feel that I met her and I just believed that I can do it, that it can be done. That's what I pray for.
Oh no, I love that. I love that. And then any closing, what is the key takeaway you want people to go away with today?
uh, Ask questions. Ask questions. Like think about the wildest dream that you have. Something I say is that when people receive awards and like, oh, this is beyond my wildest imagination. I never want that to be you. I never want anything to be beyond your wildest imagination.
Yeah.
Take your wildest imagination and ask for it. Ask
Hmm.
for it and ask what you need to do in order to get it. And if you're willing to do the work, I say that people plus systems plus knowledge over time, compounded by consistency and hard work, gets everything done. If you have people and you can build a system for it and you can gather the knowledge for it and you
Mm,
give yourself time and you can be consistent and you're not shy of hard work, there is nothing that you can't do.
hmm.
That's my closing speech.
And I love that. And I love that. With that, thank you so much, Sharon. It's been an absolutely
Thank you
fantastic.
very much for having
I
me.
look forward to having you again. Um,
Yes. And
Thank you so much, Sharon. And thank you all for also joining us today. Do again, I've put the link to Sharon's LinkedIn in the chat, but I'll also be sending it to all the participants. So do please follow her, join her community, her network, and also follow us, join our community so that we can share all the exciting things we have coming up. Thank you so much for being with us. And we look forward to seeing you on the last Saturday of next month, same time, same place. Thank you all.